After watching just one half of a Houston Rockets preseason game, I have officially decided that they are my underdog team in the Western Conference. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I've been interested and very fascinated by the Houston Rockets ever since the end of last season. Any point before that, I didn't really watch or pay much attention to them. I did know that Cam Whitmore was gonna be a lot of fun to watch and how he slid down in the draft, and that Amen Thompson was a very energetic and fun player as well, but I just never really found the time to watch the Houston Rockets. One thing I do know is that they continued to whoop the Sacramento Kings' ass, but we'll get to that a little bit later. The moment specifically where I got very invested into the Houston Rockets was probably the same time for a lot of other fans who maybe aren't so focused on the Rockets themselves, and that was around the time that they had their beef with the Golden State Warriors. I believe it was Tari Eason who was doing the Instagram live video with the whole Warriors, that stuff. I fucking loved it. Listen, like I said before, I'm a Kings fan, so we're beefing with the Warriors around this time, obviously. And for there to be that little rivalry where I think the Rockets were on like an 11-game win streak and Jaylen Green was playing out of his mind, there was so much energy and so much excitement for the Rockets coming into this season. Not to mention Reed Shepard, who I just want to start off right now by talking about him, because we have seen just a little glimpse of him so far in this first preseason game. It maybe hasn't gone as expected for someone who played so well in Summer League, but when watching this game, the one thing I kind of noticed was that he has been a little bit more shy on the offensive end than I thought he would be. Granted, at the time of recording, it is halftime. He's only shot 1 for 4 from the field. Every time he's had the ball and has been on the offensive end, I feel like it's kind of his turn to take over. He ends up dribbling the ball a little bit and then just dishing it out to someone else. And obviously this isn't something that like matters. It's game 1 of the preseason. I want you guys to all know while watching this that I am overreacting to every single thing that I talk about because it is preseason. That's the whole kind of point of this. So don't take everything too serious. But that was the one thing I noticed from Reed Shepard while watching him in this game. I will say, as soon as he stepped foot onto the court, he got himself a steal, and was actually a huge emphasis from Ime Udoka and what he wants this Rockets team to be like. He wants them to be quick, and he wants them to be great defensively. Without getting too deep into what last year looked like for them, every time they were quick, or every time they did try to play with a lot more pace, whether it was in transition or just set offense, it not only led to a ton of turnovers, but it also led to pretty terrible defense. So for Reed Shepard to go in and immediately make himself known and his presence felt on the defensive end, I love that. I hope he continues to keep these active hands and maybe running into passing lanes or getting steals, whatever it is, because that can be huge, especially from a rookie. So even though I'm not talking about Reed Shepard as much as you may like, because he is the rookie and everyone is very excited to watch him, and I know a lot of people have him as their rookie of the year, I'm just going to wait a little bit before really taking like a deep dive into his game, okay? And actually, speaking about new players that they have acquired, Steven Adams has stepped foot on an NBA court for the first time in forever, basically, about a year, I think over a year now. And this guy is just always going to be impactful. And what he really provides, though, for this Rockets team is the ability to play the pick and roll while Şengün is out on the bench. And I think that is very important. You are going to see that a ton from this Rockets team throughout the season. You already saw it a little bit right now. So I think that's huge. But when it comes to the actual players that have been on this team, right, let's talk about their core. Alfred Şengün, Jabari Smith Jr., Jaylen Green, and Amen Thompson. I know that there's also Fred VanVleet. He's a huge part of this team, but I want to talk about more of the younger core guys here. Amen Thompson, and once again, just warning, I told you guys I'm going to overreact here. Holy shit, the jump he is going to have this year is going to be insane. It feels so wrong saying this because I know I'm just overreacting, but this man was running all over the court, whether it was grabbing rebounds, playing defense, dunking, being able to shoot, pass. The man is a natural born playmaker. He finds everyone. He could drive to the basket and kick it out right to the three-point line and find an open teammate. So much fun to watch. I know that he was great last year, but really seeing him grow in just the 1 year already is very scary if you're a fan of any other team in the Western Conference, like myself. Jabari Smith Jr. was going through his feels during the offseason, asking Jason Tatum, you know, what he can do to be better since he hasn't met expectations from fans. I don't know what that whole thing was, by the way. I don't know if the NBA put him up to that or if he just wandered into the media room. But anyways, I will admit I have been sleeping on his game. Jabari Smith Jr. has been so much fun to watch defensively. I just love watching him play. The one problem, the one thing that I hope the Houston Rockets do throughout the season and really start to develop is giving him the ball. If you can give Jabari Smith Jr. the ability to be a threat on offense to the point where like people need to shift over to cover him, you will have a very, very dynamic and just overall threatening offense. And I think that he has done a good job so far in this one game alone by doing that. Jaylen Green and Alfred Şengün, I kind of want to talk about together because the play that they run so much is just a simple simple pick and roll between the two. Jaylen Green, I genuinely, my jaw drops and I am in awe of what he is able to do. He had one crazy layup in this game so far that I just love seeing. Alfred Sengun, you know, another guy that I will be honest, I kind of slept on his game, and it's not that I didn't recognize him or I didn't watch him and see what he was doing, but I really don't think I gave him enough credit for what he is able to do. I just realized that this sounds like insane if you think that I'm only feeling this way about the Rockets from literally one half of a preseason game. I want you guys to know I've had a lot of these feelings held back since the end of last year, okay? This isn't one big analysis video from just a half of a preseason game, so just bear with me a little bit. Overall, there were some problems that I did see from this preseason game, though, that Ime Udoka, you know, probably wants to fix or change. One of those being the pace of the team. There were some great moments throughout the game where they did maintain that pace, whether it was in transition or set offense, but there were so many other times where they're taking the ball up the court and there's either a wide open pass or someone who is cutting to the basket and nothing happened. I don't know who had the ball in every single one of those situations since it happened a decent amount of times, but there were so many moments where it's like, man, you just gotta keep on going. And once again, I'm sorry for reiterating this, but this is just a preseason game. Obviously, these are things that, you know, we can look at 10 games, 15 games, 20 games into the regular season and really be able to critique them. But this is just what I'm seeing so far, okay? This is what I'm getting a feel for from the Houston Rockets. If we do want to talk about speed, Cam Whitmore has been one of those guys that was able to really push the pace, whether it was getting a nice ass poster onto was it Walker Kessler, I believe, or just nailing 3 after 3. I mean, this man has been an absolute steal from the Houston Rockets. You knew it when you saw him sliding down the draft board. And overall, like, I feel like I just went through a majority of the players on the team here that at least played in this game. I know that a lot of the older guys like Dylan Brooks, Tari Eason, Jock Landale, and Jeff Green didn't play in this game to my knowledge, but the Houston Rockets are a team where I don't think many people are going to be giving them the credit going into the season, because specifically, I don't know why I feel this way, but specifically because of the Memphis Grizzlies, weirdly enough. With them being a team that's been injured for like 2 years, I think everyone is talking about the Grizzlies. They're even saying that they're going to be a top 3 seed in the West, which I think is personally ridiculous. But if there is any team that is going to be a surprise next season, I would not be shocked if it's the Houston Rockets. This is the team that I am putting my investment in over in the Western Conference. Now, if they somehow jump the Sacramento Kings in the standings, which I don't believe is going to happen, but if it does happen somehow, I am deleting this video because there's no way you will catch me hyping them up when they're beating my favorite team. But man, this team is just so much fun to watch. I think that that's the biggest takeaway that you should get from this video, is to watch the Houston Rockets once they get their pace down, once they kind of all connect and are able to play off each other very well in that pace. This team is just going to be super fun to watch. That being said, be sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below your guys' opinion on the Houston Rockets and where you think they will be at the end of the year standings. I honestly have them as like a 7 or 6 seed. That's where I'm going. All right, I'll see you guys all in the next one. Later.